God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
When the speaker, who has admonished her caucus on more than one occasion to, present themselves with decorum and so on and so forth, she was just angry.
She ripped up the speech.
She ripped up the speech. I was just texting with a source close to her who said, I know this is probably a little obvious, but that was not planned. That was an emotional moment. That was a genuine reaction to what she just heard the president do.
She ripped it up and then she threw it down.
And she threw it down. And there are lots of reasons for that. Well, I mean, just on the substance of it, one of many reasons she would argue is because of what you just said about health care. Him telling the American people and the world that he thinks that pre-existing conditions should be...
He's going to guarantee it. It's a guarantee.
Should be guaranteed when he is, in fact, in court fighting to
take it away.
Dismantle Obamacare. I was at a meeting with her and with Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader, today, and they predicted that he would do exactly that. They're also trying to turn the page back to health care. So they were prepared for that. But the fact that, both sides, everybody's so on edge. And even in this moment where usually they try to be on their best behavior again, they didn't even try.
It didn't take very long, Jake, for the White House to react to Nancy Pelosi ripping up the president's speech and then just basically tossing it.
Well, and it would be political malpractice for them not to do it. It was such a visceral moment. As Dana points out, it was not planned by Speaker Pelosi. It was obviously done because she was upset at what the speech was. And the White House has now tweeted, Speaker Pelosi just ripped up one of our last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, the survival of a child born at 21 weeks, the mourning families of Rocky Jones and Kayla Mueller, a service member's reunion with his family. That's her legacy. That's a quote that I'm reading. Obviously, when Speaker Pelosi is asked about this, she's going to say that she did not have an issue with those moments about mourning families or families reuniting the Tuskegee Airmen, that what the issue was that she was upset about obviously had to do with the more partisan moments of the speech in her view. But that is, of course, what we expected. And Dana Bash and I were talking about this.
Before you ask Dana, I just want to point out Speaker Pelosi just tweeted this.
That's what I was looking at. I didn't mean to be...
Go ahead.
Well, there are a couple things. First of all, just staying on this topic, she told Fox up on Capitol Hill that the reason that she ripped up the speech is because that was the courteous thing to do.
Yeah, she said that to a bunch of reporters while walking in the hall.
Yeah, okay. So
why was it courteous?
I guess as opposed to throwing it at him? I mean, something like that, I suppose.
The point that she was trying to make is what she really wanted to do was a lot
harsher than ripping it up.
So that was the nice thing that she sort of found to do. But separately, on the idea of the president, kind of blowing off her attempt to shake his hand, this is what she said in a tweet just moments ago, and this is what you're referring to, Wolf. Democrats will never stop extending the hand of friendship to get the job done for the people. We will work to find common ground where we can, but we'll stand our ground where we cannot.
So one of the things that I think is interesting here is that Speaker Pelosi has been really effective at getting under Donald Trump's skin. And she has done, I think, generally speaking, a pretty good job at not letting his attacks get to her, while he makes it very clear when her attacks bother him. He has little outbursts on Twitter and the like. I think we saw a little bit of the opposite here. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump is having a week that is frustrating lots of Democrats. They had their Iowa imbroglio, a fiasco in the Iowa caucus. We still don't know who won that caucus, and we're still waiting for results. President Trump's approval ratings, according to Gallup, are the highest they've ever been. 49% approve, 50% disapprove. That's much higher than they were when he was elected. I think his approval rating was somewhere in the 30s, and he still was elected. Obviously, he has the State of the Union. Tomorrow, he is about to be acquitted in the impeachment trial, an impeachment that Speaker Pelosi did not even want to do. Mm-hmm. So this is, for Democrats, a very, very frustrating week. And I think that the speech, which I think was partisan, I don't think it's odd that it was partisan, but it was a partisan speech, really got under her skin. And she let it show that it bothered her in a way that usually she's better at hiding.
I think that's such an astute point, because one of the reasons why Nancy Pelosi in the past 3 years has become an iconic figure, a real iconic figure among Democrats, is because she is the person, from their perspective, the only person who should be and could be their leader to go up against Donald Trump, because she gets under his skin.
And she plays it cool with her little hand, with her applause with the hands like this. The camera's not showing me, so I go, okay. When she did that whole thing, like, when she did that, when she came out of the White House with her sunglasses on and her big red coat, iconic to liberals.
All those moments, her, kind of taking the White House photo that the president thought made her look like an angry woman, and
she's pointing at him, across the desk,
making it her profile picture on social media. All of those things, and tonight felt different. And the fact that she even is saying that, ripping up a speech, something that there's no question that kind of reaction would be and has been something that she admonished her own caucus not to do. It just shows you we're at a completely different place.
And they haven't spoken since October.
They haven't spoken since October.
And the president.
She confirmed that today.
And you can see when he first walked in, normally they shake hands, they pass along he presents the advanced copy of the speech. Afterwards, he didn't even turn around to look at the vice president, who's the president of the Senate, or the Speaker of the House. He just walked right out. And at that point, as he was walking out, she rips up the speech.
And I have to say, though, also, I see a lot of Republicans on social media talking about how horrible this moment was, how Speaker Pelosi has done away with norms that have lasted for decades. And I'm not going to take issue with any of that. But President Trump has done away with norms that have lasted for decades as well, and many more of them. So, again, this is going to be one of these opportunities one of these moments where we hear a bunch of people talk about how offended they were, and maybe they are actually offended. This was something Speaker Pelosi did that is certainly notable, and I could see people being bothered by it. But let's not forget also who she was reacting to and all the norms that he has destroyed.
And let's also not forget the impeachment. The President of the United States was impeached by the House of Representatives.
In that very chamber 7 weeks ago,
that's
where
correct.
he was
speaking. And the Speaker of the House, she's in charge of the House of Representatives and the Democrats. And as our White House team, our reporters and producers of the White House have been reporting, it was very clear that this whole impeachment process has really gotten under the president's skin. Because even though he's going to be acquitted tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, he's not going to be convicted. He's not going to be removed from office. He's going to go down forever as an impeached president of the United States, and that has clearly irritated.
I'm sure that bothers him, and I understand why it would bother him. But we hear a lot of Democrats say this is going to Speaker Pelosi. He's always going to be impeached. This is going to be a stain on his record for the rest of his life. Bill Clinton was impeached. He's been given a primetime speaking slot in every single Democratic National Convention since 2000. So, yes, it will always be on his legacy.
It irritates him.
I'm sure it irritates him. It would irritate me too. But I'm just saying, presidents are able to go along and still be rather popular figures in their party, even after they're impeached.
Yeah, he's got, he's going to live with that. And even though it irritates him, you're probably right. Within that Republican base, and that Gallup poll that came out today has him at 94% job approval among Republicans.
Exactly. And with every day that passes, he is being told and being convinced by political advisors that, as bad as it feels to be impeached by the House of Representatives and that be your legacy, politically speaking, in his quest to be reelected, maybe not so bad.
Well, his approval rating among Republicans is up.
Yeah.
So it has had at least a limited effect of rallying Republicans around him, not Democrats and not independents, we should point out, even in that same Gallup poll, but rallying Republicans around him. And again, we see his effort this evening, a speech that I'm sure his supporters, like Senator Santorum in the other room, really, really liked.
Yeah. And the Republicans clearly are happy with him, and they want him to get reelected.